Hi, and welcome into the Ranch Sitdown. My guest today, Garrett Bradford.
Hey y'all, I'm Garrett Bradford, and this is a song I wrote called This Way of Life. It was on Yellowstone, Season 3, Episode 9. Love to play it for you. The rain never seems to fall on us, and the price of haze up, and the future's burning down. And them old men at the feed store spitting snuff say it's never been this tough. If they were me, they'd move to town. They say there ain't no use in trying. They think our way of life is dying. Go ahead and carve your headstone, boys, and write your eulogies, and plan yourself a funeral, but don't be expecting me. 'Cause as long as I'm still breathing and my blood is flowing red, our way of life ain't dead. And there's a whole lot more out there like me, from north to south and sea to sea. You thinking we'll all just fold and quit? You better quit thinking, 'cause we got grit. Our 100 years of roots run deep. Times will change, but so will we. Feeding them 5-weights, slinging that rope. We can't quit now, Lord, it's all we know. Go ahead and carve your headstone, throw a farewell party too. But please don't be expecting us, 'cause we've got work to do. Lord, as long as I'm still breathing and my blood is flowing red, our way of life ain't dead.
Very, very nice, man.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it,
I'm
man.
following your career for a long time, and your songwriting just continues to get better and better and better.
Well, thank you. I think you've seen me playing since I was in high school.
Yeah.
Literally. So
Yeah,
you've been
literally in
following
high
it more than
school.
anybody in radio. I think you've known me longer.
I have. I don't know if that's a curse or a blessing for you, honestly. Your new album, our EP, Honkiest of Tonkers Part 2, comes out May 23rd. Tell us
Yes,
about
sir.
it.
All right, so this is my first actual album. I wanted to put out an album. I put out some singles and like a 3-song EP.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided, well, I need to actually put out an album, a kind of
Right.
a statement piece. So it's a combination of songs. About half of them I recorded in Tennessee, and the other half I recorded here in Texas, down in Dripping Springs at the Zone.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just been really awesome. So I released the first part in February, and got some pretty great feedback on that. And I think I really noticed a difference putting down an album versus just putting out a single.
Right.
'Cause people they're interested in it and they like it, they can go listen to the rest of the songs,
Mhm.
and totally different response. Really gotten a lot of folks, believe it or not, in Europe.
Really?
Yes, in the UK and Norway, and got a couple of truck driving songs on there,
Mm-hmm.
which I never thought they took off over there on TikTok and
Oh,
all this
yeah.
social media. And
How funny is
I never
that?
thought there's truck drivers everywhere.
Yeah, you don't think about it. You think,
Yeah.
yeah, they're here in America, and that's it.
I saw, man, the other day I got on the TikTok, and you can see where people have used your songs or what the video is.
Oh,
There was
really?
a guy, yeah, and there's a guy in Vietnam using my song "Keep on Driving" through the jungle in this truck.
No
and I
way!
said, there ain't no way.
Like, you need that for your music video.
Yeah, I know.
That's cool.
I was thinking about making it'd be cool to make like a compilation of the people that have used
All the
it for all
different-
over
yeah.
the world. And then part 2 comes out towards the end of this month, and I'm excited about that. That song that I just played, "This Way Life," it'll be on there. I made a radio-friendly version without any
Thank
cuss
you. We
words.
appreciate that.
That's what I just sang there. So yeah, when I first put that song out, it was on Yellowstone, which was obviously such a blessing. And I got a call the next day, and it was from a lady, and I can't remember where exactly she was from, but I thought it was one of my buddies prank calling me, and she said, "Do you have a version of the song that doesn't say a curse word?" And I was like, "No, I don't have one." Kind of joked around with her and hung up on her, and she called me back, and I was like, "Oh, she's serious."
Oh, I'm sorry. That's funny.
Yes,
well,
sir.
Jason, I asked that of Jason Eady one time, and he goes, "Shane, I got to be honest with you. Sometimes that's the correct word." I'm like, okay,
Sometimes you need to
sometimes
use
it just fits. It's
Hey,
okay.
Can't argue with Jason Eady about writing a song, man.
But what a career-changing moment for you when that song plays. Did you watch the episode when it happened? Did you know when it was going to happen?
I did, yes, sir. So the way that all played out is Taylor Sheridan moved to Weatherford, bought some property, and he hired me to come do some work for him out there.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't try to push my music on him or anything. We just he invited me to dinner, and we started becoming somewhat friends, and eventually figured out I played. Somebody called me out on it at dinner one night, so he'd have me bring my guitar, and I was like, yes, this is what I was waiting for.
This is my moment.
Yeah, and it was really a couple years after I first met him. We were sitting on his porch one night after dinner, and he said, "Garrett, sometimes when people are songwriters and singers and they know that I got the #1 show in the country and it's known for its music,
Right.
they'll ask about writing a song for me." I was like, "Oh, is that right, Taylor?" He's like,
You don't say.
I'm giving you a hint. He said, "I got this idea for a song. I can't find the right song for this scene. It's a montage scene. I want it to be about the Western way of life and how it seems like it's dying, but it's really just changing." And he said, "I think you could do it. You get it." And sure enough, a couple weeks later, it took me some time because he's a perfectionist, and I knew that if he didn't like it, I mean, he'll tell you he doesn't like a song in a heartbeat. So I was like, gosh, let's see. And I came up with that little lick and recorded it in Weatherford, Texas, at the barn there on the ranch where I grew up. I got a little studio set up.
Wow.
And I thought it was just going to be the demo, and it actually turned out I sent it to them on Wednesday, and they used it on Sunday. The acoustic recording.
Crazy is that?
It changed. Yeah, it was just a whirlwind. Totally changed my
What
life.
if he didn't find that song? What if he didn't get that song done? Like, what does he use?
I don't know. It was that quick. And
that
I've
is
realized that they're really, I don't know if they would have had something else on the back burner maybe.
Just
that
in
they're
case.
Like,
You
just
got to
in
think there
case.
was, yeah.
Because I've gotten to talk to him a little bit. I'll talk to him about music and what's going to be on the show. And I'm really surprised how last minute some of it. I mean,
I heard that from some of the actors, like, some of this stuff is like they're recording it the week it's being released.
Yeah, literally.
Like, just wild.
You would think that it would be 6 months in advance.
Right,
or
yeah.
something,
Everybody's got to
not.
sign a waiver and don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't have time to talk about
No,
it.
it's going to be on by the time you can talk about it.
You might be live. Here we go.
You might, yeah. But, man, it was such a blessing. I mean, it's so cool that everybody in the world wants their songs on there.
Right.
And I don't think there's a lot of guys at his level in the business who would meet a guy and hire him to cut down some trees and end up using their music on the show. I think that says a lot about who he is and that he
Absolutely.
he believes in, people that are up and comers and just authentic people. I think that's what's made that show so. And he's used so many artists that you hear on the ranch. I mean,
it's wild, isn't it? And it was not only good for you artists, it was good for our radio station.
Yeah.
Because, they'd start looking up these artists and realize we're playing every single one. And it was wild. I was like, this guy's listening to the ranch.
Yeah,
There's no
he
way
is.
he's not.
I know he does. I've been in the truck with him.
So
It's what he
if you
listens
ever have
to.
the conversation one day where he needs a guy to help him pick music,
You
drop
would be
my
the
name.
man.
If that 2 years down the road, if you sit on
That's
the porch.
right. That's right. Hey, if I get you that job, though, you got to be like, we're using Garrett Bradford's song on this one.
Right, yeah, absolutely. That's all Garrett's song.
Yeah.
But what a neat moment for you, man, to like be watching that show as that happens. It had to be kind of overwhelming.
It was surreal, and so my dad, he passed away just over 4 years ago, but it was not long before he passed away, and it was just such a cool thing for him to have seen me, have a little bit of success
Mm-hmm.
doing what I love. He is always so supportive, and I think to me it meant so much, not just because of what it did for me, but like all the people that believe in me,
Mm-hmm.
that care about me, and have supported me, and they were ecstatic, and
I
still
bet.
are. So and I had no idea how much power. Like I didn't know that many people could watch a show.
Isn't that wild?
It's
You think
just
with all the
insane.
distractions in the world now, everybody was watching that show.
Everybody, and I mean it opens so many doors. Like if I'm booking a gig or if I'm playing at a songwriters round or something, as soon as I mentioned that I had a song on Yellowstone, people automatically perk up and listen. So it's such an awesome thing to have on my resume. And the thing about how it all happened is, I don't know, it had to be divinely appointed or something.
Absolutely.
I've had a couple artists say, "How do you get a song on Yellowstone?" I'm like, "Well, Taylor's got to move to your hometown.
Right.
You got to be hired to cut down trees for him."
And then you got to pray a lot and
Yeah,
then see what happens.
Exactly right.
That is wild. So, there's a lot of guys out there doing country music that are playing cowboy. To be
Yeah.
honest, you're the real deal, man.
Well,
I think that's why Taylor enjoyed your and wanted to play your music. Like you are the real deal.
I appreciate
Grew up
that.
doing the cowboy stuff.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean it sure is nice to be a country singer and have that background.
Right.
I just did some things, radio remotes at the ACMs a couple of days ago, and that's the first thing they would talk about is like, so you're really from Texas and grew up on a ranch, and it's nice because you don't have to fake it,
Oh, with those guys, you got to have fun. Yeah, we all do.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
everybody here does. We all ride our horses to
I
school.
rode my horse here. It took me a
Right.
day and a half to get from Weatherford to Frisco.
I need to fill my canteen. I'll be back. That's interesting.
But you definitely meet a lot of guys that are all hat and no cattle. Especially we were talking about earlier. I spent some time in Nashville.
Yeah,
and
I wanted to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different ball game up there. I remember I played a songwriters round and with this phenomenally talented gal, and when we got done, she said, "I just love what you've done with your outfit. You've really leaned into the whole Yellowstone thing."
Outfit?
And I was talking about that Jason Isbell song,
Right.
"Don't call what you're wearing an outfit."
Outfit.
And I was like,
Every
"Well,
time.
I kind of just dress like this all the time,
Right.
Or when I'm trying to look nice, at least.
Right,
But
yeah.
It's funny.
Around the house, it may be a little different.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot different. You can ask my mom about that.
So, yeah, you've been recently traveling back and forth from Nashville to Tennessee or to Texas to do some songwriting stuff.
Yes, sir.
What is that like the first time you walk into one of those songwriting rooms and you realize that person wrote that song and that person wrote that song? It's like,
It's
do you question whether you belong in a room
Yeah.
like that? I bet you can.
100%. I mean, it's humbling. And I was so fortunate. I mean, some of the first songwriters I got to write with after moving up there was one who's a lady who's one of my heroes and become one of my mentors, Leslie Satcher. She wrote Troubadour for George Strait and all kind of hits, and she's a Texas girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom Douglas, who has umpteen hits, just an unbelievable amount of number one hits. And it's really interesting to meet those people and see how they write and kind of pick their brain. And it's funny, I've noticed that a lot of the people that had the most hits are the easiest to get along with.
Really?
Like they just are real relaxed, and I think that's part of what makes them good is if they're co-writing, people gotta feel relaxed to really be creative.
Right.
And they're not real pushy. They can kind of go any angle you want to. And it's been really interesting to write with some of those people. And yeah, it is absolutely humbling.
It seems like those people wouldn't have to be in that room trying to prove themselves.
No.
They've already proved themselves. So.
Absolutely.
So do you find yourself, Garrett, when you're in a room like that, like after doing that a couple of times, that it changed the way you write songs?
I mean, I think I've learned how to
learn
co-write.
some tricks.
Yeah, and I have for sure. I've learned. I mean, one of the things is not to overthink it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, that almost cost me that. That song I just played. I had that idea. I probably could have gone home and wrote that song that day, and I started to, but then I would think, well, I don't know about that line or that line, and I'm the biggest critic of my own music, especially when I'm writing it.
Right.
And eventually Taylor was like, "Hey, the show's coming up in a week. You need to." So I had to put it down. But if he'd have left it up to me, I mean, I would have wallowed around and maybe never even got that song
Season
finished.
4, maybe.
Yeah,
coming in there.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that and when you see one of them do it, they know what they're talking about. I mean, they've written all these George Strait hits or whatever, Alan Jackson, and when they tell you, "Hey, you're overthinking it," you're probably overthinking it. So that's the biggest change that I think I've probably noticed in my songwriting. And I still love to write alone. You know, a lot of times I'll write a song or 90% of a song alone, and then maybe take it to somebody if I think it's not quite there. But it's definitely a difference co-writing and writing alone, because I really don't like, if I can avoid it, I won't do it, like 3 or 4 person songwrites.
Oh, I could see that being an
Songwriting by
issue.
committee.
Yeah, and everybody's got a different opinion.
Yeah, you can hardly. I mean, it's hard enough to get 2 people on the same track.
Right.
Trying to get 4 or 5.
Good
I see
grief.
some of these songs, they have 5 or 6 writers, and I'm like, I don't know how y'all got anything
That
done.
had to take 2 years.
Yeah, it would take forever. So it's changed a little bit, but I still hold on to my Texas roots and like to do a lot of solo writing too.
So if you could sit down with your younger self when you first started and picked up a guitar, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I would probably just tell myself to not overthink it. It's the same advice as, I think I was, even when I first started out, I was very critical of myself and thought that I needed to do this or do that, or I needed maybe somebody's permission or approval to go ahead and do what I knew I wanted to do. And I think the advice I'd give myself is just to get after it, tear it up, and you'll figure out what you need to learn along the way,
Very interesting. Every artist at some point in their career has some doubt about themselves. Was there ever a point where you were doubting whether you did this, and then what got you through that?
I mean, there's been a lot of them. I think sometimes still I have that. There's days I wake up. I mean, I know I love it, but there's trying to make it in the business. We was talking about earlier, there's so many people doing it, and you're trying to figure out it's so much outside of just the music now.
There's a lot of noise.
It
really
noise,
is, yeah.
And creating, it's a lot about being social media, and sometimes you get frustrated because I didn't want to be a social media influencer. I just wanted to write songs and play them. So there's been times like that, but I think the thing that just gets me through it is I love it so much. It's just hard to imagine not doing it.
Right.
It really is. It's hard.
It's who you are now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's baked into my identity at this point. I mean, I've been writing songs more years than I hadn't. I mean, I started
that wild to
doing
think
it when
that.
I was 12 years old, playing and writing songs, and now I'm 33. So.
Do you remember some of those songs that
Oh,
you wrote?
yeah. I remember.
How bad were they?
Pretty bad. They're pretty bad. It's funny.
I close every night with one. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right? No, there's those first songs. It's kind of funny, though, because I would say like the first year or two that I was writing songs, there are some of them that, I mean, they're maybe not as good as a song I write now, but I was like, hey, that was pretty good for a kid,
Right, yeah.
And there's a lot of them that are like, oh,
I was a kid.
yeah, but I loved writing them. I mean, when I was a teenager, especially, I mean, I was trying to write songs every single day. Just had like a real passion for that. And when I first went to Nashville, which was just a couple of years ago, I was surprised because I take my songwriting books in there, and like in the front of a couple of them, I have just every song that I've written, and there's hundreds. I mean, and I thought everybody would have that many, and it's been really interesting to me to learn that, like, especially a lot of artists, a songwriter is gonna love to write songs, but a lot of the singer-songwriter artists that I've met up there, they're having trouble scraping together 5 or 6 songs for an EP.
Wow.
I'm like, well, what do you do all the time?
Right, yeah. You have another job that I don't know about?
Yeah,
what is
what's
this?
going on?
Wow.
But it's I just I think the more you write, the better they get, or at least you have more to pick from.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So speaking of social media, though, one of my favorite things I've ever seen on social media is when you released part 1 of Honkiest of Tonkers, and you did the music to the Friends video where they were dancing. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen anybody do. And they're all dancing it, and it's in beat, and like, it was fantastic.
I was proud of that.
You should be. Like, every social media influencer would strive to make a video that cool. Like, that was really neat.
You gotta have the right idea at the right time.
Yeah.
I've started to think more about it, and I finally broke down like a year and a half ago, I think it was, maybe 2 years ago, that I got TikTok, because I was like, well, everybody's asking me what my TikTok is. I gotta get one, and that's been a whole nother thing, trying to figure out how that works. And I wouldn't say that I've got it figured out, but I've gotten some traction on there. And generally, I don't like to do any funny dances or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just like to sing my songs, and I
Right.
found that like the quirkier a song is on there, the better.
I don't
be-
like to brag, but one of my videos has like 74 views. So,
Dang, you're getting on up there. You're
Yeah,
basically
well,
an influencer.
I'm waiting on that check. Should be here anyway. Yeah.
You're an influencer
Yeah,
now.
I
You're
feel
getting
like
brand
it.
deals
Yeah,
and stuff.
right. Yeah, it's terrible. I'm so bad at that, but
Oh,
I
it's
try,
tough.
man. Yeah, because you feel like I don't know. You feel like a phony when
Yeah.
I'm doing some of this stuff on social media.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, and especially, I've got to where, you know, you can put the phone up there and you can use the selfie camera.
Yep.
And then you can see yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't like being able to see myself.
Right. Yeah.
Because then I
That's
start
the
acting
face
all
I
weird.
make.
I start doing all kind of weird. I'm like, oh, my hat crooked? Oh, what's going on? Are my teeth yellow, you know?
That's what I've got this camera right here, and I see this screen right here in front of me, and I will not look at it. It
No.
just drives me nuts.
You know,
Yeah.
it'll drive you crazy.
It will.
Yeah, I don't like, once I post them, I don't really like watching them again because I'll
Right.
be like, what am I doing there?
Well,
Why-
you can just listen to the audio version of
That's
this
right.
is what you'll do.
That's
Well,
right.
Garrett, you want to do one more song for us,
I'd
sir?
love to.
Tell
Yes,
us what we're
sir.
going to hear here, buddy.
This is a song that I wrote, and it's coming out. It actually just came out last week.
yeah.
It's called Firefly. I wrote it because I went down to a farm with a guy who's like my adopted grandfather. His name's Danny Bruce,
Mm-hmm.
and they grew up on this farm. And you know, they were telling me how it was in the 50s and 60s. And we were sitting there on their porch looking out over this pond. And unfortunately, by my estimation at least, there's a ton of wind turbines around there now. You know, they're not the prettiest things. And we were sitting out there, and it was summertime last summer. And he said, you know, when I was a kid, the only lights you would see out here is fireflies, and now all I always see is these dang wind turbines.
Blinking red lights
And I was
everywhere.
like, ding, ding, ding. Thanks, Papa. I got to go in the other room real quick. Let me
Right.
come back. But I wrote this song about it. It's called Firefly, and it's out now. And I've enjoyed this one just because of the story and the meaning behind it. So here's what it sounds like. He pointed to a picture hanging by the door. Said I took that when we built this house in 1954. Back when this was nowhere, just empty field and sky. The only lights you saw at night were fireflies. And we'd sit out here at twilight and catch 'em in our hands before the corporations came and bought us off the land. They poisoned all the peanut fields and started farming wind. They tore down all the silos so they won't be full again. They called it progress, but I think that's a lie. I might believe 'em if I could find a firefly. Well, we talked about the world he knew and where it all went wrong. How much he missed Miss Nelda and them old Gene Autry songs. And as the sun was setting, a tear came to his eye. He said, what I wouldn't give to see a firefly. And we'd sit out here at twilight and catch 'em in our hands before the corporations came and bought up all the land. They poisoned all the peanut fields and started farming wind. They tore down all the silos so they won't be full again. They called it progress, but I think that's a lie. I might believe 'em if I could find a firefly. Hell, you might not believe, son, if you'd never seen one. Someday they'll say they weren't real at all. But I'll recall how we'd sit out here at twilight and catch 'em in our hands before the corporations came and bought up all the land. They poisoned off the peanut fields and started farming wind. Then they tore down all the silos, said they won't be full again. They called it progress, but I think that's a lie. I might believe 'em if I could find a firefly.
Holy cow,
You
man.
like that one?
Holy cow.
Thank
I looked
you.
at Mom and just went, wow.
Oh, man,
Like,
I appreciate it.
Hey,
That
Taylor,
song
we
gets
found
me
your next
choked.
song.
That's right. It gets me choked up, man. 'cause I
God,
think
like
about
me
it.
too, because I remember being a kid and chasing fireflies, and like you don't see them anymore.
You don't see them anymore. You know, it's we sent the album out for like reviews or whatever,
Mhm.
and this guy from this English outlet, he was like, he did not give me a glowing review. It wasn't terrible, but it was like very highly opinionated on every song. It was brutal, and he liked about half of them, and he hated the other half. And he went into this whole spiel about Firefly, and he's like, I'm not a entomologist or whatever the insect scientists are, but I don't believe there's any decline in the firefly numbers. I said, well, he's crazy, because I know there is, and I looked it up, and there's like 1 million articles about how
There's a
there's a
'cause
downturn in the firefly population.
I can go to places like my grandmother's house out in Early, just
Yeah.
outside of Brownwood,
Yeah.
lives out in the country there, and like we used to chase fireflies and put them in mason jars and run around in the yard in the summer nights, and now like you go there and there's none.
You're
Like,
lucky to see
absolutely
one or
none.
two.
Yeah, it's like it's almost an event when you do see one.
It
It's, oh my
is.
gosh, there's
Yeah.
one! Yeah, everybody gets excited.
At the ranch in Weatherford, when I grew up, I remember catching them all the time, and we don't hardly ever see them. I mean, I was talking to my mom about that the other day. You don't see them anymore. I don't know what it is, if it's insecticides or what it could be, but it's a dang shame.
There's something happening.
Yeah,
There
it's a
absolutely
shame.
is. But man, that's a powerful song.
Thank you, brother.
That's a really good song.
I
man.
appreciate that.
The Honkiest of Tonkers Part 2 out May the 23rd. Garrett Bradford from Weatherford, Texas, man. Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, Shane. Thank you, buddy.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.